Alright, this is a quick video to show you how to use the Venus Factor Virtual Nutritionist. So first thing you do is choose your units, so metric or imperial. I'm going to choose imperial for this example. And the next thing you just fill in your starting information, so you're going to have to know your height, at least take, and then your waist, shoulder measurements, weight, age, and exercise. These little buttons here, they're not clickable, you just hover over them and you get a little bit of information about each of these inputs. So let's just pick just an example height, example waist size, example shoulder size, and I'm going with numbers that I can think of in my head that are relatively realistic at that. So at this waist size and at this height, I'm picking like numbers that are realistic or possible. And then daily exercise. So at this point, if you don't do any exercise, obviously you click none. If you do 1 hour a day, every other day, you would pick 30 minutes here, because that would average up to 30 minutes per day. So this is a daily average, right? So that's the way you kind of interpret this. So if you do an hour a day, you just pick 1 hour. But if you do 1 hour every other day, you just pick 30 minutes to average out for your daily average. And then you just hit calculate. So now you can see all the outputs. This is like the important stuff, and this is what these outputs are what you're going to use on a weekly basis. So you use this calculator once per week, and I suggest that you take your measurements and do all of these inputs on the same day of the week and in the same state. So I suggest after an overnight fast, so when you wake up in the morning, after you go to the bathroom, then do your measurements, and that will be the most consistent that your measurements will be on a weekly basis. And I like to choose a day that's at least 2 or 3 days apart from the weekend, so like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and that gives you time to normalize if you choose to make your weekends a time where you eat a little bit more calories. And like I said, you can go to any of these more info hover-overs and you get more information about each of these numbers. Now, so this is your ideal waist. This isn't going to change. This is based on your height, and this is your Venus index waist. That's your target. Same with your ideal shoulders. That's the target based on your height. So that once you've done your height once, those will always be your same target. Based on your body, you will look your best between these. This is your target weight range. So we don't know how much you'll weigh when you're at your Venus measurements, but based on all the data and research we've seen, and based on your height, we've come up with an algorithm that gives a general idea of where you'd land. So people of slighter build or smaller build, you can say, would end up on the lower end of this range, so this lower number, and people who have a bit more natural muscle would end up on the higher end. Same thing, so the best estimated target weight, this is simply the mid-range of the weight range, and that's kind of like where we expect most people to converge. But again, we can't know 100% if you'll land right on this number. It's just the middle or the median of our weight range. Ideal hip circumference is also a range, so we figured out through research that some women just based on bone structure and genetics, they have bigger hips than other women, and that's not a good or a bad thing. It's just the difference. And so we've come up with a range that seems to fit with in the research with what we would think, or at least the target where we think you'll land as you approach your ideal Venus index waist. Now, the two most important things here for your weight loss and for following the Venus Factor program is the maintenance calories. So this is the number, and this is based on your height, so this doesn't change no matter what you put as far as weight or exercise. This is how many calories we'd expect you to have or to burn on a given day, not really taking into account exercise, but just daily activity. Suggested daily calories for weight loss, this is the max. This is as low as you can go for weight loss for a given day, and this is our suggested number. So you can see these numbers are quite different. And when you see the protocols in the manual, so when you're going through the 12-week actual undulating system, you'll have protocols that have an eat up day. The eat up number is this number here, is this your maintenance number. And then on the deficit days, it's this number. It's your suggested daily calories for weight loss. Now this the heavier you are, or the more weight you have to lose, the more aggressive, meaning the lower this number gets until there's a certain cutoff. Now this is a target. You don't have to get all the way to this number, but this is sort of the safe lower limit for that day. And in the manual, if you're on the 5-1 protocol, you'd be eating at this number, this lower number for 5 days, and you'd bump up to this number for 1. And then throughout the manual, you'll find throughout the undulating system, the 12-week system, you bounce between these two numbers either on a 5-1 basis or on a 2-1 basis, where you eat at this deficit number just for 2 days and come up to your maintenance calories on the 3rd day. So those are more manageable weeks to get through. So some of the weeks are tougher than others, and that adds up to what we think your estimated weekly fat loss could be. So in this case, with these numbers, it's up to almost 2 pounds of fat loss. And just to be clear, this is fat loss, not total weight loss. You could actually lose more weight than just pure fat, and that has to do with dropping some excess water retention along the way. And to further explain, or at least give you an idea, that we added in the possible daily water fluctuations or body water fluctuations. This is, well, it says body weight, but this is due to body water, and we all know that we can go up and down just based on how much food's in our system, how much we've had to drink, as well as just kind of a little bit of bloating. And in this case, we would guess you could fluctuate up to 3.5 pounds at this height and size. Incidentally, the lighter you get, the smaller your fluctuations will be. And then finally, you have your suggested protein intake for the day, and that's just the amount of protein you'd want to incorporate into however many calories you're eating, and that number's consistent even on your eat up or on your deficit days. And until you get to the second undulation in the program, protein intake stays the same. And then on the second undulation, what I think happens in week 5 and 6, that's when you start eating up on protein. So essentially, that's the calculator. Use it once per week. If you use it more often than once per week, it's too much. It gets a little too confusing, and you'll start to stress yourself out. You don't want to do that. And just return back to the calculator once a week and use these numbers for that week. And the key thing you're really doing is looking at this maintenance number for when you have your eat up day, and this weight loss number is your deficit day. And again, if this number seems aggressive, we've done this research shows this is a number that will work. You don't have to hit this number bang on, but it's the number we think you can safely get to for the number of days that we're suggesting.